Okay, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Andrea Ryan, and I'm thrilled to have you here today, whether you are watching this live and or watching the recording, to discuss essential oils to support the elimination pathways. This is part of a greater discussion that I am having in the Low Tox Lifestyle course that I've created. However, what I wanted to do was give you the opportunity to just have a basic understanding of how we can use essential oils to support different processes like the digestive system, the elimination systems, of course, even a little bit going into skin, although that's a whole other topic that could take much longer than the half hour I have allotted for this one. So I am going to go through all of this content at a fairly good pace, and then hopefully that will establish some questions that you may want to further go into on your own. But ultimately, this is just sort of a basic understanding and a basic introduction to how to use essential oils to support the elimination/detox processes of your body. So let's just start with what are essential oils, because you might be brand new to these oils. Essential oils are aromatic compounds that can be used for their different healing properties. They come from different plants out there: trees, flowers, spices, herbs, citrus, fruits, mints, etc. And while each essential oil has very specific health benefits they can help with, they also, just give me 1 second here. Yep. They also have multiple different essential oils can support one health issue. So this is often something we find, is that someone will say or ask, what essential oil can help with inflammation? And the answer is many oils can help with inflammation. We could use frankincense, copaiba, deep blue, lemongrass, helichrysum. There's multiple oils that can support it. At the same time, if we were to look at copaiba or frankincense also has neurological benefits. It has skin benefits. So it sometimes can seem overwhelming to try and nail down what specific oil is going to work with you. However, at the same time, it is lovely to know that there are lots of options out there, and often it is just a process of going through to find the ones that best work for you. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer here that essential oils are not a cure. If you have specific issues when it comes to elimination, when it comes to detoxing, essential oils are going to be part of that. However, it's not going to be that as we go through this information that I give you one oil that you start using and suddenly all of the challenges are gone. It is a multi-pronged approach, and I really want you to, as I said, use this as a beginning step, and then from there be able to dive into it a little bit further or much further through multiple different processes, whether it means working through the Low Tox Lifestyle course, whether it means working with a professional, or simply doing more research on your own. So how do they work? And just very briefly on these oils, there's 3 different ways that we primarily use essential oils, and that will be aromatic use, topical use, and internal use. And that's all well and good, but understanding actually how those oils are used in the absorption process is very important. So aromatic use means that anytime you inhale, whether it be, if I'm just opening up my fur bottle here, I've got that oil, or then I could also use it in a diffuser, which I have going here on the counter. So when inhaled, essential oil molecules travel via the olfactory nerves, and the olfactory nerves are basically the nerves that are associated with smell, to the brain, specifically the amygdala. Now, this is the emotional center for the brain. So when people often ask, well, how do essential oils impact how my feelings or how I feel, or my stress, my emotions around certain things, sleep, for example? And that's because when it impacts the amygdala, it is having a direct impact on the emotional center of the brain. Now, it can also go through the different nerve pathways to other areas of brain, but aromatic use, we tend to think mostly, primarily, of emotional use, and sometimes with immune system and so on too, but a lot of the times we default to emotional things. With topical use, when applied topically, they are absorbed through the skin and into the bloodstream. And then, of course, the bloodstream, when we look at capillaries and veins, your circulation system goes everywhere throughout your body. So that is how they can get to all cells, tissues, and organs this way. And then with internal use, there's a difference between internal use and oral use. So oral use would be if I were to just take, I don't have an, well, actually I do, I have copaiba here. So I could take a little bit of copaiba and put it at the roof of my mouth. If I could do that with frankincense or lemon, lots of oils that I could use that way. However, so that would be oral use. Internal use is when you pop it into a veggie cap, swallow it, and it goes right down into your gut and is going to have a more direct impact on things like digestive function. If there is internal systemic inflammation or inflammatory conditions, that's a really great way to support your system that way as well. So internal use, it is going to be absorbed through the GI tract, transported into, again, the bloodstream, where it's delivered to the rest of your body. Now, with relation to the specific detox process or the elimination process, I want to be clear here in that essential oils are not detoxing agents. They do not act as binders or chelation agents. They support the health of the different pathways or organs that are part of the detoxification process. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind. As a chiropractor, I really feel that this is an important piece to understand, is that we're looking at the healthy function of the body. We don't approach essential oil use, or really we shouldn't be approaching any medication or food or anything. I don't care if it's exercise, whatever it is, we don't want to approach it from a perspective of, oh, if I do this, it will fix this. We have to recognize that your body is freaking brilliant, right? I mean, when you look at everything it accomplishes on a daily basis, what it's responsible for, the fact that we are still here, I'm 44, that I'm alive and thriving and well, is pretty freaking phenomenal. So when we look at it that way, we know that our body knows what to do in order to survive. But sometimes we just need the extra support of the different body processes, because even though our body is thriving as human beings, we don't tend to do all the right things. And certainly if you're looking at this detox pathways, or if you're looking at understanding more about the elimination process, then you're probably cueing into a few things that you're saying, gosh, you know what, I really need to improve upon my health in a multiple different ways. And so it's usually an indication that you need to change something, because we're not always the best stewards of our body when it comes to how we best need to support it. Okay, so let's very briefly go over the elimination pathways itself. Now, if you are in our low tox lifestyle course, we had a really great call that we did with Dr. Melissa Esquera, who is a chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner. And she went through a number of different things with us with respect to the elimination pathways, and understanding the different processes and how to, the funnel and so on. So reference back to that video, but certainly this is a good overview of these different pathways. Number one is going to be your colon. And this is actually, we're working backwards, right? So the colon is going to be the final process or final journey on the way to eliminate your toxins. From there, the bile ducts actually go into the colon, or the small intestine. So the bile ducts transport bile from the liver. The liver is where bile is created, and then it gets stored in the gallbladder, to small intestines to help with the breakdown of fats. Then, of course, we have the liver. It regulates chemicals in the blood and creates the bile. We have our lymphatic system. This is like the sewer system of your body. It maintains fluid levels by removing any fluid that spills out of your cells. And when we think of lymph, we want to get lymph moving. We're going to talk a little bit about one of the really great oils to get things moving in just a second here. But the lymphatic system is all about taking up the excess fluids and moving it throughout our body. And when we get bloated or heavy in our skin, we can see it when we have too much fluid in our body. Often it's because we've just taxed the eliminations or the lymphatic system so frequently or concurrently over a period of weeks, months, and years. And then the final part is the cells, or the first part, I should say, of the cells. And this is where metabolic waste can accumulate over time. As cells break down, of course, we always have that breakdown of cells. And then, and that's a normal process. It's a healthy process, apoptosis of cells, where those cells degrade and die off. But this metabolic waste can accumulate. And over time, we need to make sure that we're increasing the energy that goes into the cells so that they can perform at their most optimal function. Now, when it comes to the cells and cellular health, I'm going to link to a video that I did, or a webinar I did back in, I want to say it was January or February of this year, and it was all about cellular health. We're not going to focus on cellular health in here. We're going to focus more on 1 through 4, colon, bile ducts, liver, and lymphatic system. But certainly when it comes to cellular health, there's a whole other video I will link to so that you can dive into that even further. Okay, so let's look at the essential oils for elimination pathways. This is in general a good overview. Specifically, we're going to get into these oils, not all of them, but the 10 ones that I tend to go to the most. But this is just a sort of a really good overview of it. So with the colon, oils that are going to best support it: fennel, lemon, rosemary, peppermint, ginger, and juniper berry. With the bile ducts in the liver, we're looking at zendocrine, geranium, cilantro, rosemary, juniper berry, and peppermint. For the lymphatic system, really nice oils: cypress, lemon, grapefruit, and geranium. And then for cells, which again, we're not diving into in this presentation, but you can watch it on the other one, is frankincense, DDR prime, clove, for example. That webinar I do on that is about 20 to 25 minutes long. So just keep in mind that you'll have another good video to watch there. Okay, so let's talk about Cypress is the first oil. Cypress is the oil of flow, and it helps get things moving. If you are looking at urine, blood, lymph, or more on an energetic component with energy, money, etc., Cypress is going to be your go-to oil. I am in love with Cypress. It's one of my all-time favorite oils. Now, what's interesting is that it's also a diuretic, which you think, this sounds very strange. Like, how can it be a diuretic at the same time as a flow? But it helps flush the toxins of the body. So it's going to help increase your sweat, which is a beautiful thing. When we sweat, it's 99% water, but that 1%, if you were that 1% of toxins that it helps eliminate in your sweating, if we weren't suddenly eliminating that through our sweat, that is going to have a significant impact on how much it accumulates in our system. So cypress oil is going to help you not only from a diuretic perspective, but also to increase your sweat. Now, I found a really interesting study, a 2007 study out of the National Research Center in Cairo, Egypt, and it found that isolated compounds in cypress essential oil showed hepatoprotective activity. In other words, liver protective activity. So cypress is going to be great for your liver. It's going to be great for your lymphatic system. It's going to be great for increasing sweat. So this is all around one of my favorite oils to use, even though it's not, if you were to look through the books, it's not necessarily one of those that shows up frequently, but it's sort of my go-to when it comes to getting things moving. So how to use this? You can use cypress as part of a daily process of clearing, applying 1 to 2 drops to the bottoms of your feet each morning. As I said, it's going to help get things moving. It brings up your energy, lots of different reasons for that. And then use cypress oil as part of an abdominal massage, especially when we're talking about when we look at abdominal massage, we want to be going in a clockwise motion on our abdomen. A small note here, you're going to see that as I go through a lot of these oils, then you'll note that there are numerous oils that I say, apply to the bottoms of your feet, add into a massage, use internally. At the very end of this presentation, I go through a few of the tips to bring this all together so that you don't feel like, oh my God, how many oils am I using? So just bear with me for these suggestions or how to use their usage suggestions in the beginning. But using cypress oil as part of an abdominal massage is really lovely too when it comes to getting things moving with regards to the drainage pathways and the elimination pathways. All right, lemon. This is one of my favorites as well. You'll see that I say this a lot. Oh, this is one of my favorites. But it's true. I do have non-favorite oils, but just they're not in this presentation, so you're fine. So lemon oil has purifying, cleansing, and protective properties. Animal studies have shown to reduce oxidative stress and damage specifically to the liver and kidneys. It's shown to reduce lymphatic inflammation, thereby stimulating lymphatic drainage, and it helps by scavenging for free radicals, thereby supporting the liver as part of your elimination pathways. So lemon, one of my favorite ways to use this is to put a drop of lemon in a glass of water, not a plastic cup, but a glass or stainless steel container. And I drink that every morning. It's how I first start my day. It rehydrates me after a night of sleep, but also lemon, of course, helps with cleansing properties. You can also add 1 to 2 drops of lemon oil to your abdomen. Just be mindful in the summertime if you are bearing your belly like a bikini or a crop top, you just want to be really mindful that as you apply it to the bottoms of your to your abdomen, that you're not out in UV rays from the sun, because it can discolor or burn your skin. So you just need to be mindful of that. Cilantro. Cilantro is a phenomenal essential oil to support the detoxification because it has diuretic properties. Once again, you'll hear diuretic properties a lot through this, but it also has potent anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antifungal, antimicrobial, and chelating properties. Now note, it's not a chelation or chelator, but it has chelating properties. So according to various studies that heavy metal chelation using cilantro and chlorella, which I'll talk about in just a hot second, it can naturally remove an average of 87% of lead, 91% of mercury, and 74% of aluminum from the body within 45 days if used consistently. Now, here's the thing. So this is about heavy metal detoxing, and that's a whole, as I was going through this presentation, I'm like, oh, I should really do a whole talk on heavy metal detoxing as well. So you'll probably see that before the end of the summer. But if you are exposed to a lot of chemicals on a daily basis, this is going to be really critical for you. If you have fillings in your mouth, if you have let's talk about vaccines. There's been a lot of vaccines recently. So this is going to be, or throughout your lifetime, this is going to be a big focus, is to ensure that you are helping to detox through heavy metals as well. How to use this: you are going to add cilantro oil to a veggie cap each morning and then chase with a glass of chlorella. So chlorella you can pick up from a health food store. You can pick it up at well.ca. It can either come in the capsules or a squirt bottle. You can add it to water. There's no, it's very mild taste. I actually don't mind it at all. And so that's what you want to do. 45 days consistently will help to remove a lot of these out of your system. Again, you can also add 1 to 2 drops of cilantro to the bottoms of your feet daily. All right, let's talk grapefruit. So grapefruit has a ton of different functions. It helps to stimulate circulation. It helps to stimulate the lymphatic system. It helps detoxify the liver, and it stimulates the digestive system. So with grapefruit oil, again, you can add it to a glass of water or bubbly water to consume. I love adding it. Grapefruit and lime are lime we don't talk about in this presentation, but those oils in like a glass of Perrier is really nice on a hot summer day. Or add it to a smoothie. Like, lots of different ways to get grapefruit in there. If you wanted, you could do a veggie cap, but ultimately, as long as, grapefruit's really easy and it tastes delicious when you're consuming it. So adding it to water or a smoothie is a great way to go. You can also, again, add 1 to 2 grapefruits of grapefruit oil to a carrier oil and adding in your, applying to your abdomen to aid in digestion. Juniper berry. So juniper berry contains, again, diuretic properties that benefit the urinary system and aid in fluid retention, cellulite, and urination. I often combine Cypress, juniper berry, and lemongrass, as a total side note, when it comes to anyone struggling with consistent urinary tract infections. Those 3 oils work really beautifully together. That's a whole other topic. If you have questions about that, certainly reach out to me. So juniper berry is very high in terpenes, which increases the rate of kidney filtration, thereby increasing urine flow. It increases the release of digestive fluids as well, and so it improves digestion, and it's also noted to improve congestion, whether it's nasal congestion, chest congestion, congestion through lymphatic system. We think of congestion, it's blocked, we want to get it moving. So adding 1 to 2 drops of juniper berry oil to the bottoms of your feet, or at the very end of this presentation, as I mentioned, I will give some suggestions more specific to all of the different oils that we have. Rosemary. Rosemary is a powerful decongestant and diuretic. I love rosemary. I've been using it a lot lately, diffusing it. It just got this incredible aroma to it, and it reminds me of eucalyptus, which I find fascinating. It has stimulating properties that increase circulation, and it stimulates the production of bile in the liver to help prevent damage of the liver. So again, you can add 1 to 2 drops to the bottoms of your feet, or put it in a veggie cap, and preferably swallowing in the morning. Anytime that you are wanting to stimulate your digestive system, your urinary system, probably best not to do it at night. So I prefer it in the morning, so that you have the day to deal with whatever the repercussions are of that. Fennel. So fennel also has diuretic properties, so it's going to help flush out the toxins. It helps stimulate perspiration through its diaphoretic properties. So we're talking also like just being able to sweat. So this is a good thing. The chemical makeup of fenchone, estragol, and anthiol help to kickstart the digestive process. And what happens is that it helps to release more gastric juices. So come back to Cypress, right? The more it flows, the better we're talking. We want to get rid of things. And when it comes to, I know I talk about this in the course, but when we talk about like antiperspirant, this is one of the things that drives me crazy is that there's such a push to not sweat and have antiperspirant so we don't have stains on our shirts. But that process of sweating is so unbelievably critical throughout our day that we don't want to deter our body from doing that. So this is where we want to get things moving. We want to get things flowing, and stopping that natural process of the body is not good. We want to get that moving there. So how to use, apply 1 to 2 drops of fennel essential oil onto your stomach. You can pop it in a veggie cap, again, swallow in the morning. Now, this is one of my favorites ways to do it. Add 1 drop of fennel essential oil to a warm mug of water at the end of the day, not too close to the end of the day, like maybe right after your meal to help stimulate digestion, or you could do it before as well. For a fennel tea, it's absolutely delicious. And yes, it's got that sort of black licoricey taste to it. Now, notice I say warm mug of water. When you apply or add oils to, if they're heated, they start to lose some of their therapeutic benefits. So we don't want to overly heat the fennel oil. It will still taste lovely, but you're just not going to get the same benefits from it that way. So just warm is what you're going for. The last oil I want to talk about is Zendocrine. So Zendocrine is actually the only blend we're talking about here. It's a blend of essential oils of tangerine, rosemary, geranium, cilantro, and juniper berry, all of which you've spoken about, except, well, geranium and tangerine we did not, but I mentioned that geranium earlier on is very good for the bile ducts and liver. So applying Zendocrine to the bottoms of your feet each morning. This is part of my morning routine. You can use Zendocrine soft gels and also capsules. So if you are a customer of doTERRA, they do have a whole line of Zendocrine products that you can use with different properties. One will help with the detoxification process. One is more supportive of the different parts of the body that, the different organs that are involved with it. The other option is to add 1 to 2 drops of Zendocrine oil, again, to a warm mug of water. It's not my favorite taste, if I'm totally frank with you all, but it is, it's still great. And it is an incredible process to help detoxify your system. All right, so let's talk about combining this all together. So daily rituals, one of the things that you can look at is making a roller blend. So often, I mean, we've just highlighted 10 different essential oils. We didn't even talk about ginger or geranium, etc. So when we're looking at a roller blend, sometimes a roller blend just simply makes it easier. So you can make a roller blend of any combination of essential oils. I would not go more than 25 or 30 drops in total. You can rub into the stomach, to the bottoms of your feet, and along your spine, specifically with the thoracic lumbar junction. So you're looking at the lower end of your mid back down to your lumbar spine or your low back. This roller blend is great because it's just easy, right? So you can apply it, you can let it roll in, it becomes part of your daily ritual first thing in the morning. With massage, you can apply rosemary and cypress to an abdominal massage. We talked about a couple of other oils there as well to add in. You could add juniper berry, you could add pretty much whatever you want. Apply Zendocrine or any of those oils to the bottoms of your feet. And then with veggie caps, these are oils that you want to specifically look at, lemon, grapefruit, fennel. There aren't any oils that we talked about that cannot be taken internally. But if you want to specifically target areas, so always I like to start with the colon, right? We want to make sure the colon is flowing. If we were to start with the lymphatic system, you get the lymphatic system going, but then if there's a blockage at say the liver or the bile ducts, it doesn't matter how well your liver is stimulated, you need to get, it's like the process, right? So you want to make sure the colon is functioning properly, then work up towards the bile ducts, then towards the liver, then towards the lymphatic system. It's not that you can't focus on everything, but it's just a matter of being aware of, it's like a flow, right? It's like a process. We want to make sure that we apply it well. Now, if this is all seems overwhelming or you're not really sure where to start, certainly reach out and ask questions. But I really suggest that you start with one ritual to focus on in the beginning and then slowly add new ones in over the few weeks and months. And then change these up every 4 to 6 weeks. So for example, if you're using the exact same roller blend or the exact same veggie cap, give your body a little bit of a shift. Our body is constantly in change, constantly in motion. So it's always nice to be able to switch it up and try something new, so that your body kind of expects something new and we can support it in different ways. I believe the same when it comes to exercise. I think consistency of exercise is important, but changing it up and really focusing on different areas of our exercise is important as well. Okay, so the last thing I want to discuss with you is the low tox lifestyle course. If this is something that you sort of piqued your interest and you're starting to think more about, I have an entire low tox lifestyle course. If you are in that course, this video will be added in, which is great. Otherwise, you've got 7 days to watch it. I'm going to take this down after 7 days, but this is added in so that you can watch it over and over again, however many times you want. But this low tox lifestyle course goes into much more. There's 11 modules with 5 more modules being added between now and November of 2022. And we go into everything such as the toxins in our food, the self-care products we use, the household products we use, the air and water quality around our home. And there's great interviews, lots of great content. There's over 6 hours of video content for you to take at your own pace as you go through this course. So I will link, of course, the low tox lifestyle course when I send out this recording. And if that's something you want to dive into, by all means, please feel free. So that's it, friends. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, I will send out the recording, of course, at the end of, within a couple of hours, I'll send it out so that you have a link to it. And by all means, feel free to email me back with any questions you might have. Thanks so much for joining me for those that could, and I look forward to talking with you all soon. Have yourself a great day.